What's up? It's POD, back with another report for the Mafrican channel. This time I'm taking the Quins for a spin for the first time in 9th, and taking on Adepta Sororitas. First up, a look at the rosters. Oh, and real quick, I haven't mentioned it in a while, so I thought I'd let you all know that my Harlequins were beautifully painted by Neon Forge Studio, formerly known as Totally Mini Painting. You can check Neon Forge out on Facebook for more awesome examples of their work.
Become who you are born to be.
As games of 9th edition have more variables in the mission than in 8th, I'll start off by running through the battle stats. We're playing frontline warfare from the main rulebook, using the moon-base Clasis board, which is 66 by 40 inches. For secondaries, we both ended up taking the same: engage on all fronts, vital ground, and bring it down. Here's deployment. I deploy weighted towards the right flank, with most units well hidden except for one unit of Skyweavers. FYI, the outcrops of rock are just shy of 5 inches, but we house ruled them to count as 5, and gave them the obscuring trait. There was one fusion boat just out of shot. Here it is, chillin' on the left flank. The Incarn is in deep strike. Sisters deployment. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna know what most of the specific characters are called. Basically we have a massive battle line of Sisters and Dominions, in front of a centrally placed Exorcist, and Celestine. On the right, some more infantry, along with the Mortifiers, Penitent Engine, and a Rhino full of Repentia. The Seraphim are in deep strike, along with Stern and Kaganel. I then used the new polychromatic blur strat to redeploy 3 units. The exposed unit of bikes went to the extreme right flank, along with the Shadowseer, and I moved one of the fusion boats further left. Rules query. This is done at the start of the battle but before the first turn commences. We could not work out whether I could do this after the roll for first turn had taken place. If there's a rule about this one way or the other, please drop a comment below and let me know. As it stands, we rolled off, and I did it before the roll. Sisters got the first turn anyway. Right. Let's finally get into the battle.
I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
So just before the first turn, 2 of his infantry units are able to make an extra move. On the left they creep up behind this ruin, and on the right they're actually able to get in range of a central objective, meaning they'll score 2 points for vital ground in the first turn.
Okay.
And here's what it looks like after movement. We see a general press forwards from most of the infantry, with the squad that took the objective coming forward even more. The Penitent Engine goes round the left side of the rock, while the Mortifiers go round the right. On the left flank, you can see they don't walk onto the objective yet, playing it more cautiously. In shooting, he can draw a bead on my rightmost unit of bikes with a smattering of units. A few are out of range thanks to my Shadowseer's Veil of Illusion ability, and as I'm only rocking a 4++ at the moment, I also pop Foes of the Mind, giving his units -1 to wound.
I don't have to find a hideout place like you.
I only lose 2 bikes, much to my relief. So Sisters scored 2 points for vital ground, and 2 for engage on all fronts. Here's movement. I have to keep a unit back to hold my home objective, so I choose the Death Jester's ride. He's in a Starweaver along with 5 players who are kitted out with embraces and no fusion pistols, so this seems like the best choice. Plus, he has the 36-inch range relic gun, so he can afford to stay back. My Warlord's fusion boat stays hidden, slightly in front of it. As usual, let's go left to right. On the left flank, I send my unit of 2 Skyweavers, and 2 fusion boats, to grab this objective and put some hurt on the infantry over here. On the right flank, my remaining full-strength bike unit moves up to the Dominion squadron to threaten the objective, and gets prismatic blurred. The unit of 3 bikes heads up to menace the mortifiers. He's just out of shot, but the Shadowseer is hiding behind the big wall at the bottom of the pick. In Psychic, I believe I'd just try a mirror of mines but do little or nothing. In Shooting, I ravage the units over here, killing 1 Battle Sisters squad, and 3 out of 5 of the Dominion squad. By the way, these ones are toting meltaguns. Here's the right flank after shooting and combat. I managed to take out the 2 mortifiers with Haywire, then charge and easily muller the Dominion squad with both units of bikes. Not sure if this was the best plan, as next turn I'll have to deal with the unscathed Repentia and the Penitent Engine too.
Okay, great. So that's a sack full of face-chewing rats, thank you very much.
Might have been better to take out the Rhino and try and kill the Repentia before they could do anything. But, I do get more points for killing the mortifiers, so there's that. In turn 1, then, I get 4 points for Bring It Down, and 3 for Engage on all fronts. That's just such a frickin' good secondary for Harlequins. Right, on to Sister's turn 2. On the left, he starts bringing the heat to this objective, literally.
Okay.
With a squad of flamer-wielding sisters bursting out from the central ruins to help out. On the right, he squares up to lay an absolutely epic beatdown on the bikes here. Celestine, the Penitent Engine, 8 Repentia, and a bunch of other sisters all crowd round ready to charge in.
I wanna go home, I wanna go home, I wanna go home.
He also deep strikes the Seraphim on the extreme right flank. And Ephrael Stern and Kaganel deep strike to start causing problems in the left side of my deployment zone. Shooting's pretty crappy for him. The Exorcist rolls poorly, and all told over here he just kills a couple of bikes from the big blurred unit, and puts a wound on the smaller unit. This is despite using a strat to fire the Seraphim's hand flamers at the big unit, too. I don't think the Seraphim even managed to cause a single wound. Over here, more lackluster shooting. He kills 1 bike from the 2 bike unit, and does a few wounds to some of the Star Weavers, leaving 1-on-1 wound. I forgot to mention that Stern did a couple of wounds to the Void Weaver with her mortal wound thingy. However, she and her buddy fail their charge. On the right flank, though, it's big time charge time.
Does anyone have a charger?
The Rhino, Repentia, and Penitent Engine go into the topmost unit of bikes, while Celestine and the Seraphim make it into the bottom one. The topmost unit of 2 gets absolutely mullered, of course. I take this opportunity to teleport in the Mafrickening Karn.
Hello there.
The closest place it can get is just behind the Rhino, which is fine by me. Down here, though, a miracle occurs, ironically. Only 1 of the 3 bikes dies. I don't remember if it was poor rolls from the sisters, or if I just bossed my and bun saves, but either way, 2 bikes survive. Noise. So sisters got 5 points for primaries, and 3 more points for engage. Still no points for Bring It Down for them yet. Oh, just thought I'd mention, I know Bring It Down is scored at the end of the battle, but it just makes so much more sense for me to record it as the game progresses, don't you think? I mean, why isn't it a progressive objective? It just makes it so that if you want to be all technically correct and shit, you have to keep a mental note of what you killed and factor that into your points, if you want a rough idea of how you're doing. Fuck all that. In my turn 2, the 2 surviving bikes fall back onto the rocks up here.
Well, we can't stand it anymore, we're going. They just left, didn't they?
The 5 embrace-wielding players disembark from the DJ's boat and square up to Stern and their treacherous kin. I dunno, I assume he's treacherous. I know nothing about Kaganel's background. Sorry. Ain't got time to read that shit.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
I disembark my troop master and his cohort and decide to go after Celestine. She might have whiffed last turn, but I can't have her rampaging around unchecked. Fun fact. I've spent more time trying to get this software to pronounce Celestine correctly than any other word. Fuck's sake. I move most of my boats over to the objective on the left flank. There's a fair few fusion pistols still floating around. The Heart boat is my warlord's empty ride. Here's a shot of the whole battlefield just so you can see it all together. The Incarn stays by the Rhino. In shooting I managed to finish off the Penitent Engine with combined shooting from the Skyweavers. I put a couple of wounds on Kaganel with his troops' shuriken pistols. Kill just 1 of the Gemini despite a ton of fusion over here. And finally, bit weird over here. With all my fusion I kill a bunch of the sisters, but they have a thing where they can shoot when they die if they roll a 5+. Using this, they managed to strip the last wound off one of the fusion boats, which is why I have a disembarked troop now.
Dare you? How dare you?
Fortunately, no one dies in the wreckage. On to combat. The Incarn charges the Rhino and does exactly enough wounds to destroy it. The disembarked troop then charges and kills the last Flamer sister, and the Incarn takes the opportunity to get the hell out of Dodge, and teleports over to where they were. Over here, I do exactly enough wounds to kill the last Gemini and Celestine herself. I was hoping that when she resurrected I could fight again with my warlord and kill her for good, but she popped up 6 inches away, so that scuppered that plan. After the battle my opponent realized that he played the rule wrong and she should have come in as close as possible to where she was. Ah well, there's always gonna be mistakes, so no worries there. Finally, the Embrace troop down here charge and kill Kaiganel, after losing one of their number to his always strikes first attacks. I teleport the Incarn again and bring him down here, as where he was on the left flank left him open to some pretty easy retaliation from the main sisters battle line. Right, so 5 points from primaries, another easy 3 for engage on all fronts, and 4 more for bring it down. Sisters also got 2 for bring it down, for killing that Star Weaver. Stern falls back. The Repentia and Seraphim crowd round my infantry death ball here. And the Exorcist moves round a bit to get a better shot at my left flank. You can see sisters have kept a ton of bodies crowded round their home objective, making sure I'll have a hell of a time trying to claim it should I even try. In shooting, I think the Exorcist finally does okay and destroys a Star Weaver. However, the one Dominion sister who was here has a plasma pistol, overcharges, and dies. The Incarn sees an opportunity and teleports up there. He's a monster so can't go on the ruin, so ends up the other side of it.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Oh, and the troop from the destroyed Star Weaver suffers no casualties, and chills near the objective. I take remarkably little damage from shooting over here. On to combat then. One of the bikes up here had died to some bolter fire, so Celestine charges the last one and easily slays it. The Repentia and Seraphim all charge into my troop and characters.
Go on, do your duty.
They absolutely muller everyone, except my warlord, who bosses his invulnerable saves and tanks a metric shit ton of attacks, surviving with 1 wound left.
I replay it like a movie in my head every single day.
Oh boy. My warlord is pretty frickin' nasty. For those who don't know, all the Harlequins so couldn't work it out from the roster, I'll explain. He has 5 base attacks, plus an extra 1 for each battle round, so he's currently at 8. He hits on 2+, at strength 5, AP -3, 2 damage, and rerolls failed wounds. Every 6 to wound is a mortal wound on top, and after he's finished attacking, 1 unit he attacked takes another 2 mortal wounds. To top it all off, I pop Torments of the Fiery Pit, pushing him up to 10 strength 7 attacks.
This guy's a jerk.
The end result is that he butchers the entire unit. They pop a strat to do mortal wounds when they die, and kill him in return. Yeah, I know Repentia are cheap as chips, so it isn't really that impressive, but still, I do really like this hyper-aggressive troop master build, and definitely want to try him out some more in future. So sisters get 10 for primaries, 2 more for bring it down, 3 more for engage on all fronts thanks to that goddamn Ephrael Stern, and the score sheet has them getting 4 more for vital ground. Not sure how, but it might be making up for stiffed points in a previous turn? Anyway, I'm going with the physical score sheet, obviously, as sometimes when going back over the picks it can be a bit confusing or I might misremember something. Right, my turn 3. Goddamn, this is turning out to be a long report. I'll try to stop rambling. Looks like this one is gonna be the first to break 15 minutes, so apologies for that.
Failed, I have.
So the Incarnate 3 fusion players head up towards the Exorcist? I crowd round this character here to scour the left objective of enemies once and for all. And the Death Jester's boat still holds on to my home objective, as I send my last remaining Embrace player and 1 empty Star Weaver to hopefully deal with Stern. I muller the character with my fusion pistols, and combined shooting from the Death Jester and his boat destroys all of the Seraphim. I haven't really had cause to mention it cause it's not done much so far, but he's toting the new Relic Jester gun, which I do like a lot. I chip a few wounds off the Exorcist with fusion, then charge in. The Incarn nearly mullers it, but my opponent uses a miracle dice to make a 6+ invulnerable save, which ends up saving its bacon.
How is that fair to me?
Finally, over here I do fuck all to Stern. I have no idea how or why I thought this little foray would be in any way sufficient. I think I forgot that embraces are only 1 damage. So a few more points this turn, then. 10 for primaries, 2 for engage on all fronts, and I finally got 2 for vital ground. This actually makes the scores at the end of round 3 exactly even, with 33 points each. I'll wrap the remaining turns up a bit quicker, as it's quite straightforward and there's not much left. In turn 4, sisters send some infantry across to the left objective, killing 1 Star Weaver and stopping me from holding it. They kill the exposed players near the Incarn, and try to kill the Incarn itself but don't succeed. This still gives them a very solid turn 4 score, with 10 for primaries, 2 for vital ground, 3 for engage, and 2 for bring it down. Ephriel Stern once again has been instrumental in grabbing them that 3rd engage point every turn. In my turn 4, the Incarn finishes off the Exorcist, netting me 3 points for bring it down. I then scramble to reclaim this objective with my beleaguered forces, and manage to kill all but 1 sister, so at least they won't score it in turn 5. So I grab only 5 points for primaries this time, 2 for engage, and the aforementioned 3 for bring it down. At the end of turn 4 I've slipped behind, then, as sisters are winning 50 points to 43.
Everything's turned from gold into shit!
Right, let's skip to a picture from the end of the game, so I can quickly explain turn 5. In sisters turn 5, Celestine flies across and dislodges me from this objective once more. Sisters have solid encampments still on their home objective and the rightmost objective, scoring them 10 more for primaries, 2 for vital ground, and Stern down here grabs them those sweet 3 points for engage. In my turn 5, I do nothing of note, and just score 5 for primaries for holding my home objective, and my usual 2 for engage. Let's go to the final scorecard, then. At the end of the battle, and taking into account the bonus 10 points which we both receive, the final score is 75-60 to sisters. Yowza. I think the last picture goes a long way to showing where it all fell apart. We were even in round 3, but after that point sisters had free reign of the right flank, whereas I was still scrambling back and forth to control the left. My vital ground tally is simply abysmal, and I lagged 10 points on primaries. Well, another fun battle, and great to try out some of the new Harley stuff at long last, and see what the new sisters can do. Scary stuff on both sides of the table, for sure. Thanks for checking out my report, and sorry it rambled on a bit longer than usual. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.